If you're thinking about selling your home this year, you're in exactly the right place. Because today, we're going to be breaking down the top 5 mistakes that home sellers seem to be making in 2026. And this isn't just a recycled list. The market has shifted genuinely over the past year, and buyers are starting to behave differently. And I want to walk you through exactly what that means for you if you're getting ready to list. And stick around to the end because mistake number 5 is the one that seems to turn off the most buyers. And I'm going to share my solution to how to avoid that. So let's get into it. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Steve Moon of the Steve Moon Group, your San Jose Metro Realtor, and I'm your guide to everything that's real estate related in the San Jose Metro area. I'm starting here because this is the mistake that quietly costs the sellers the most money, and most people don't seem to even realize it's happening until it's a little bit too late. Think about buying a used car. You can have the shiniest paint job in the lot, but the second that the mechanic pops open the hood and hears something rattling, the whole conversation changes. It doesn't matter how good the car looked pulling into the shop. Now, every single thing gets scrutinized because the sense of trust just got broken. And that's exactly what a home inspection does to a buyer's confidence. A leaky faucet or a broken smart switch, a door that squeaks, on their own, these things are nothing. All they require are 5 minutes with the screwdriver or a quick call to the handyman with the list of items to repair. But when an inspector starts finding a handful of small things, buyers don't think, oh, that's minor stuff. They think, what else is wrong that I can't see that they're trying to hide? And once that thought creeps in, they stop negotiating like a partner and they start negotiating like they're trying to catch you hiding something big. Here in earthquake country, this matters even more. Buyers are asking about foundation bolting, water heater strapping, panel upgrades, things that didn't even come up in conversation just a few years ago. And if your inspection report reads like a to-do list that you never got around to, expect buyers to either walk or come back with a credit request that's way bigger than what the actual repair cost would have cost you. You better expect to pay credit in the amount at least twice the cost for the buyer to take on that task after the sale as an inconvenience charge. My advice? Get a pre-listing inspection done before you put up a for sale sign. Fix what you can control because it's the cheapest negotiating leverage that you'll ever buy, and it keeps the conversation focused on your home's value instead of its flaws and create distrust needlessly. Mistake number 2, and this one's about ego versus data. Every seller thinks that their home is the exception. I get it. You raised your kids there, you renovated the kitchen yourself, and you know every reason that makes this house special. But buyers don't experience your memories. They experience your price tag next to 5 other listings open on a browser tab right next to yours, and they will absolutely make you compete. And here's the thing about the market right now. Inventory is growing all across San Jose Metro, but some sellers still act like it's a total seller's market. But the buyers who are out there know the prices even better than the sellers. Homes priced right are still moving in about a week or a week and a half. Homes priced with a little too much hope attached to them are sitting for 3 or 4 weeks or sometimes even longer. And every extra week on the market is a signal to the buyer that something is off. And even when there is nothing actually wrong with it. It's a little like watching a stock that everyone expected to keep climbing suddenly go flat. The longer it sits there, the more people start thinking, wait, what do they know that I don't? Nobody wants to be the first offer on a home that's been sitting there. They'd rather wait for the price cut or skip it altogether. Don't rely on the automated estimate Zillow or Redfin spits out because those algorithms have no idea that you repiped your entire house or that your street feeds into the highest rated elementary school in the district. Get a real competitive market analysis from your own agent based on what's actually closed nearby in the last 30 to 60 days, not what sold 2 years ago during a completely different rate environment. Price it accurately from day one, and instead of waiting on that outlier buyer who will eventually come along to meet your number, create real competition so that you can push your price up organically. Buyers and their agents know the market value better than you because They've been out shopping all over in different locations within the city. Mistake number three, treating your home like it's already sold in your own head when the buyer walking through the door has never seen it before in their own lives. I like to compare this to a first date. You wouldn't show up looking like you just rolled out of bed and expect that the other person to see you in your fullest potential. You'd put in the effort because first impressions do a lot of the emotional heavy lifting before either one of you has to say a word. A home is no different. Buyers are making a decision in the first 60 seconds of walking through that front door, and most of that decision is emotional, not logical. So clear out that personal photos, the collections, the furniture that's been in that same spot since 2011. You want buyers imagining their lives in that space, not feeling like they're intruding on your space. If the home is vacant, get it staged. Even light staging in the living room and primary bedroom makes an enormous difference in how listings photograph and how it feels in person. And speaking of images, with more buyers narrowing their in-person tour list based on listing images alone before they ever request a showing. Weak staging doesn't just cost you buyers who walk through the door, it costs you buyers who never even click on your listing to begin with because they swiped away a long time ago. You're not just competing for the sale. You're competing to be not swiped away and make it onto that in-person tour list with their agents. We do the staging and the beautifying and the heavy lifting to make it onto that list from which they will be eventually making an offer. Mistake number four, and this one compounds every other mistake on this list because your agent is the one who's supposed to be steering you around all of them. Picking an agent because they're your cousin's neighbor or because they told you the number that you wanted to hear is like hiring a contractor for a major addition purely because they gave you the lowest bid. It all sounds great walking in until the project's 3 months behind schedule and now you're stuck having to explain to your whole family why. A good agent in this market needs to actually understand what's happening right now, today, not what happened 2 years ago. Rates have moved, buyer psychology has shifted, and inventory patterns are different by neighborhood, sometimes by street to street. An agent who's coasting on outdated assumptions will price your home incorrectly, market it the same tired way, and leave real money on the table without you ever knowing it was there in the first place. Interview more than one agent. Ask them directly how they'd price your home today and why. Ask what their actual marketing plan looks like. Not just, I'll put it on the MLS, but a real strategy for photography, video, timing, and social media marketing. A good agent will tell you things that you don't necessarily want to hear, like that your kitchen actually needs updating or that your price expectations are way off. That honesty, even though it may sting a little, is exactly what protects you from the bigger mistakes on this list. And finally, mistake number five. The one that's almost too obvious to mention, yet I still walk into homes where it's a problem. And this one literally turns away buyers. Smell is the one sense that skips straight past logic and goes right to emotions. You know that feeling when you get into a rental car and it still smells like cigarettes? You don't just notice it, you recoil. You crack open every window, you feel like you can't actually relax in that seat, and somewhere in the back of your mind, you start thinking, this isn't gonna work. That reaction happens in about 3 seconds, and it happens before your brain can even have a chance to reason its way out of it. That's exactly what a buyer feels the moment that they walk into a home that smells like old cooking, pets, or a smoker's home. I've had many showings abruptly end due to unpleasant odors. Great buyers never even get to see the entire house before running out of the door. Now, here's something that's an open secret that doesn't really get talked about enough in this industry. So let's just address it directly. Sometimes the smell isn't just sitting on the surface where good cleaning can reach it. It's baked into the walls themselves. Any style of cooking that relies on high heat oil, think stir frying or deep frying or searing at high temperatures, they release airborne oil particles that don't just stay in the kitchen, they travel through the HVAC system, settle on porous surfaces throughout the home, and over years they actually absorb into the paint itself. And at that point, no amount of scrubbing or deodorizing or candle burning is ever going to fix it, because the odor isn't just sitting on top of the paint anymore. It's literally a part of it. The only real fix at that stage is an odor blocking primer followed by fresh coat of paint. And that's a real expense, I know, but the math is simple. If you're selling in the $1 million plus range, and most of you watching this are, a few $1,000s to remove something that turns buyers off on an emotional or gut level before they've even finished the walkthrough is one of the highest return investments that you can make before listing the home. And even if that's not your situation, you still need to respect how much power smell has over a buyer's first impression. Open all the windows before every single showing. Wash the bedding. And if you have pets, deep clean the carpets. Because here's the second open secret. You stop smelling your own pets. Everyone else walking through your door doesn't have that luxury. Take the trash out before every showing, not just the first one, and keep a few plug-in air freshener going in the background throughout the house. This is the cheapest, the fastest fix on this entire list, and it's still the one that people keep skipping the most. All right, let's recap the top 5 mistakes that the sellers are still making in the San Jose Metro right now. 1. Ignoring repairs, which erode buyers' trust the moment an inspector starts finding them. 2. Overpricing the home, which can leave a great property sitting while buyers wonder what's wrong when nothing is. 3. Skipping the staging, which costs you both the emotional walkthrough and the online clicks. 4. Hiring the wrong agent who doesn't understand how fast this market is actually moving. And 5. Letting unpleasant odors turn buyers off before they've even seen the rest of the house. Every one of these is completely within your control, and fixing them doesn't just help you sell, it helps you sell faster and for more money, even in a market where buyers have gotten a lot more selective than they used to be. So to give them the house that they actually want to buy. That is the key. If this was helpful, do me a favor and hit that like, subscribe, and drop a comment if you've got questions about your specific situation. I read every one of them. So thank you for watching, and I'd like to see you in the next video.